Members, please take their seats for the call of the roll. All members, please take your seat for the call of the roll.
You ready? You want to wait? Mitchell A. Abatessa. Here. Tori D. Adler. John W. Alden. John P. Almeida. Here. Fawn Anderson. Here. Matthew Aquaro. Here. Jean Argento. Michael P. Armstrong. Here. William J. Bill Bates, Jr. Here. Janet L. Bennett. Here. Louis J. Bernazzani. Antonio G. Betancourt. Here. Tenley Page Bevins. Richard A. Bolduc. Here. William E. Bradstreet. Here. Amy Butler. Here. Matthew P. Byrne. Here. Jeffrey A. Carey. Here. Joanne L. Chain. Here. Christine J. Cheatham. Lawrence P. Chisholm. Jennifer L. Churchill. Here. Amy E. Ciancarelli. Here. Kathleen L. Simon. James P. Simon. William H. Clark, Jr. Here. Peter E. Clement. Present. Annette Y. Collins. Here. Claire T. Conway. Here. Marissa Ann Costello. Here. Joseph D. Cucinotta. Present. Robert F. Cummings, Jr. Present. Julie E. Curtis. Present. Susan E. Dagley. Here. Glenn M. Dagley. Here. Andrea J. Daly. Douglas P. Daly. Charles C. Dame, Jr. Here. Sarah J. D'Antonio. Christopher J. Dembowski. Here. Jean N. Dempsey. Mary K. DePamphilis. Here. Brandy L. Ditch. Here. Detro J. DeJoco. Here. Corrine A. Doherty. Here. Timothy T. Donahue. Here. Martha J. Driscoll. Here. John W. Duffel III. Here. Paul W. Ellsworth. Here. Paul D. Evasius. Here. Natalie Luca Fiore. Here. Linda J. D. Flaherty. Here. William F. Fooey. Arthur J. Francis. Here. Rebecca T. Franke. Jane Fuller. Here. Daniel A. Gagnon. Here. Ronald A. Gagnon. Here. Robert A. Gamer. Here. Daniel J. Geary, Jr. Here. Louis John George.
Here.
Deborah Mary Gesualdo. Edward J. Gibbons. Kevin J. Gibbons. Tim J. Gray. Ryan P. Griffiths. Jason Anthony Gross. Dana Michael Hagan. Mark C. Hannon. Marilyn E. Hazel. William K. Hersey. Katie E. Hislop. Donna Lynn Hopkins. Kyle Hopkins. John L. Jaworski. Gary Alton Jones. Mark Mead Jones. Patrick J. Kelleher. Carla E. King. Theodore Kontos. Mary G. Kowalski. Sandra Sandy Lane. Linda S. Lee. Rebecca Sims Lee. Ellen M. LaFavor. Mark F. Lentini.
Present.
Robert M. Leshin. Charles L. Lincecum. Vincent J. Mackey. Donna Martin. Jonathan Mataracchia. Michael Matvichuk. Alan D. McCarriston. Lois McKenzie. Nancy A. McNulty. Paul A. McNulty. Nelson F. Morin. James V. Morose. Michael E. Morris. Stephen W. Murphy. Valentine N. Nana. I'm sorry, here. Thank you. Karen J. Nelson. Ross Nisiowski. Robert G. O'Keefe. Richard J. Parker. Kristen L. Perkins. Laurent R. Peralt. David R. Peroni. Michael W. Powers. William M. Prentice. John P. Pumphrey Jr. Corey K. Ryan. W. Coley Rybicki. Nova D. Samadai. Deborah F. Sauer. Kenneth G. Scholes Jr. James M. Sears. Michael J. Shannon. Lisa Silva. George H. Snow. Susan R. Saldani. Jennifer St. Arnault. Elizabeth Lisa Stockman. Richard D. Stoney. Peter H. Swift. Eldon Peter Swindell. Bruce A. Sims. Justin Peter Terriot. Janice R. Tybert. Monica L. Tybert. Kristen Barton Tybert. Michael Trainer. Lisa Marie Trask. Richard B. Trask. Jane A. Tremblay. Gregory F. Tremblay. Kathleen Turcott. James P. Tutko. Mary Beth Very. Jared W. Waterman. Alan Weeks. Joanne Wheelock Ragucci. Peter J. Wilson. Kevin T. Wood. Matthew E. Duggan. Gardner S. Trask III. Daniel C. Bennett. David A. Mills. Oops. Maureen A. Bernard.
You have 116.
116. 116 members indicating their presence. I now declare the presence of a quorum. Let us stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Before beginning this evening, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our first responders, particularly our police and fire departments. Presented with a fraught situation earlier today, they were able to, without further bloodshed, bring to a successful conclusion a very tough situation with the help of their law enforcement partners in the state police and regional police. Thank you. I'd like to now take a moment to appoint tellers. Precinct 1, Nelson Moran. Precinct 2, Donna Martin. Precinct 3, Sandy Lane. Precinct 4, Pete Swindell. Precinct 5, John Duffel III. Precinct 6, Michael Powers. Precinct 7, Bill Clark. And Precinct 8, did John Alden Sr., was he present? Or do we need to find somebody from Precinct 8? He's not here. How about Kala King? Would you take the role of teller for this evening? Sure. Thank you. Tellers should be certain to count their own votes, and the teller from Precinct 1 should be sure to count the votes of the members of the Select Board. For the benefit of new members, as well as others, the chair will review some matters of information and instruction relative to the conduct of this meeting, most of which are procedural. The chair will read each article or a summary thereof aloud, which will be then followed by the recommendation of the Finance Committee. The recommendation of the Finance Committee is the main motion. Town meeting members shall usually speak on all motions before any others. However, any citizen voter in the town will be permitted to speak after town meeting members have done so. As is tradition, all members addressing the body are asked to use the microphones. In special circumstances, the chair may permit a committee chairperson or the sponsor of an article or some other person, such as town council, to speak before others for the purpose of information or explanation. That will occur this evening. The meeting, if it wishes, may change the order of discussion of the articles in the warrant by majority vote. The chair reminds all present that no person may speak without permission of the chair, and that no speaker may be interrupted except for a point of order or for privilege. All questions addressed to any other person must be presented through the chair. Neither cross-examination nor reference to personalities will be permitted. They are out of order. The chair retains authority at all times to rule certain questions and comments irrelevant to the meeting. Direct controversies between speakers are an affront to the dignity of the town meeting and will not be tolerated. All proposed amendments must be given in writing, with a copy must be given to the town clerk. This is purely for the sake of clarity, so we all know what we are voting for or against, and in order that a main motion after amendment can be clearly stated by the chair prior to voting. Thank you to the members who have given prior notice of possible amendments. Specific instructions concerning voting procedure. The chair will from time to time recite specific requirements for votes on certain motions. As a reminder, in June 1998, the town meeting voted to adopt Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 39, Section 15, to authorize the moderator to declare adoption without any count a vote requiring a 2/3 vote. Most of our voting is conducted on a voice vote basis. If the chair has doubt of the result of a voice vote, the chair will ask for a standing vote. Standing votes are taken by precinct, with each precinct teller reciting aloud his or her tally of those in favor, those opposed. The total of all precincts is then announced by the chair. If 7 members rising in place indicated they have doubt, the chair will ask for a standing vote. After the chair has made the announcement, the vote may not be questioned. Roll call voting. A roll call vote may be taken on any motion when the following conditions have been met. A motion must be made for a roll call vote at the conclusion of the debate or after a voice vote has been taken. The motion must be seconded. Passage of the motion for the roll call vote requires a majority vote. A motion for a roll call vote may not be made after a standing vote has been taken and the results announced by the chair. Interruption of any method of voting will be considered out of order. The chair requests that all persons with cell phones or other electronic devices kindly place the device in silent mode or turn it off. As always, no smoking is permitted on school grounds. I would also like to call your attention to the location of the emergency exits in the room, which are clearly marked and on either side of the room in the front and the rear. The chair asks for the cooperation of those citizens who are not town meeting members to refrain from taking part in voice voting. The return of the warrant indicates it was properly served. There is a motion by Chairman Mills that the chair omit the reading of the warrant, which has been seconded by Mr. Duggan. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Let's now please turn to Article 1. Article 1, unpaid bills. To see what sum the town meeting will vote to appropriate for the payment of certain unpaid bills for previous years or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and good evening. We recommend that the town meeting vote to appropriate the sum of $5,460 for the payment of certain unpaid bills for previous years as follows. $1,366 from DPW Traffic Control to the Salem Police Department. $265 from DPW Other Auto Supplies to Herb Chambers. $186 from DPW Other Auto Supplies to Jay's Automotive. $2,063 from DPW Contract Cleaning to SJ Services. $354 from DPW Security System Maintenance to SOS Home Systems. $875 from DPW Aeration to Clark Hydro Seeding. $56 from water subscriptions to Gatehouse Media, and $295 from management conference fees to the Massachusetts Municipal Management Association.
Is there any discussion? This requires a 9/10 vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Article 2, Opioid Settlement Fund. To see what sum the town meeting will vote to transfer from free cash for programs and projects set out in the Massachusetts State subdivision agreement for statewide opioid settlements and the national opioid settlement agreement to combat the opioid epidemic or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman,
We recommend that town meeting vote to transfer the sum of $178,522.45 from free cash for programs and projects set out in the Massachusetts State Subdivision Agreement for statewide opioid settlements and the National Opioid Settlement Agreement to combat the opioid epidemic.
is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Article 3, school transportation vehicles. To see if town meeting will vote to amend the May 2023 annual town meeting, Article 12, to allow funding to be used for the purchase of school vehicles and related equipment or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman,
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend the May 2023 annual town meeting, Article 12, to allow funding to be used for the purchase of school vehicles and related equipment.
is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Article 4, building and electrical permit fees. To see if the town meeting will vote to amend Chapters 5 and Chapter 9A of the general bylaws or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman,
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend Chapters 5 and 9A of the general bylaw.
is there any discussion? Mr. Bates?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Bill Bates, Precinct 4. I just would like to thank the Planning Board Committee and the staff. The staff gets a thank you every week with their paychecks, but the Planning Board is all volunteers. And we spent many a night at the Senior Center. I'm not even old enough to be at the Senior Center yet, but we spent a lot of time there. And the emails back and forth, it's complicated stuff. I want to thank them very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. So noted. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Article 5, pool fencing. To see if town meeting will vote to amend Chapter 20 of the general bylaws as follows or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman,
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend Chapter 20 of the general bylaws as follows. All permanently installed private swimming pools and all other pools capable of retaining over 2 feet of water shall be fully enclosed by a suitable fence or an equivalent enclosure or means of protection from access to the pool as defined in the Massachusetts State Building Code, not less than 4 feet in height and containing a self-latching gate to ensure that small children will be barred from the swimming pool area.
thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Article 6, easement at 42 Summer Street. To see if the town meeting will vote to authorize the Select Board to grant to C.P. Berry Residence, LLC, on such terms as the Select Board deems appropriate, an easement within an area containing 329 square feet, more or less, shown on easement area equals 329 plus /SF on a plan entitled Exhibit Easement Plan of Land in Danvers, Mass., prepared for C.P. Berry Residences, prepared by Hancock Survey Associates, Inc., 185 Center Street, Danvers, Mass. 01923, scale 1 inch to 20 feet, date 7/19/23, and to authorize the Select Board to take all action necessary to accomplish the purposes of this article or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman,
We recommend that town meeting vote to authorize the Select Board to grant to C.P. Berry Residences, LLC, on such terms as the Select Board deem appropriate, an easement within an area containing 329 square feet, more or less, shown as easement area equal to 329 plus or minus square feet, on a plan entitled Exhibit Easement Plan of Land in Danvers, Mass., prepared for C.P. Berry Residences, LLC, prepared by Hancock Survey Associates, Inc., 185 Center Street, Danvers, Mass. 01923, scale 1 inch to 20 feet, dated July 19th, 2023, and to authorize the Select Board to take all action necessary to accomplish the purposes of this article.
thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. Article 7, adaptive reuse, to see if the town meeting will vote to amend Section 30 of the zoning bylaw or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend Section 30 of the zoning bylaw.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? This requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Article 8, MBTA Communities Act compliance, to see if the town meeting will vote to amend the zoning bylaw to adjust the minimum densities, parking ratios, and related provisions in the character-based zoning districts to comply with the MBTA's Community Act and its implementing regulations, or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend the zoning bylaw to adjust the minimum densities, parking ratios, and related provisions in the character-based zoning districts to comply with the MBTA Communities Act and its implementing regulations.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to recognize the chairman of the planning board, Mr. Sears.
Good evening, and thank you for your attendance tonight at another special town meeting. As you know,
That mic is not on, sir.
too low. Sorry, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Bradseat.
Thank you.
He's our biggest fan on the planning board. So again, thank you all for coming this evening. We're here on the this MBTA Communities Act. As you know, in the past, in 2017, we passed zoning regulation for the downtown, and again in 2020, we passed additional regulation dealing with the zoning of the downtown of Danvers, which results in what we have today, the ability to, we have zoning for the ability to build downtown to meet the guidelines pretty much set in the new communities law by the MBTA. Our particular committee was charged with tweaking just a few of the items in that zoning bylaw, which is a large law. If you've been through it and you've read it, there's a lot to it, but we had 6 public meetings between the planning board and the FinCom and the select board, and as I said, we had a lot of input. Mr. Bates was there, and again, Mr. Bradstreet and so on, and I know there was a lot of public input, people at home and watching and so on. So this particular bylaw is putting us in conformance with state law. 176 out of 177 communities have already put this forward, or in the process of putting this forward. This enables us to get state aid for things like the rail trail, recreation, Endicott Park, and so on. So if we did not comply with it, we would lose that state aid. But we've already put the shell and the main framework of this article already in effect back in 17 and 20. This particular act is tweaking that after discussion with staff and so on. Brian Zacchelli is here to help if there's any further discussion from the planning staff.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Mr. Mills. Jim, I didn't recognize you. I recognized Dave Mills. You don't have to walk all the way back. Just meander over that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fellow town meeting members, I rise to support this article and hope that you will do the same. I also join Bill Clark's compliments to the planning board for the hours and hours and hours and hours that have been put into this particular article and the work of the planning board throughout the year. It's amazing. As noted by Jim Sears, this article has been thoroughly vetted by the planning board and enjoys their strong support. I am aware of some emails that have been circulating suggesting that it should be opposed because it will ruin our town. I'm one of the few people in the room that remembers the lunch counter in Woolworths, which is now CVS, and I really love Danvers Square, and I don't want to see it ruined, and this article is not going to ruin it. On the back of the summary sheets that were given out at the entry to the hall tonight is a map of our downtown, which was rezoned, I believe Jim has just commented, in 2017 and 2020, after years of public input, careful planning, and dozens of meetings with residents, businesses, and town meeting members. Those efforts in 2017 and 2020 enjoyed almost unanimous support by this town meeting. The article before us tonight will not result in taller buildings, bigger buildings, or more housing units in our downtown than has been envisioned in 2017 and 2020. The article before us simply adjusts the minimum density in our downtown, and only in our downtown, to ensure that we are in compliance with a new state law. As noted on the flyer, and as I think Jim just mentioned, this new law applies to 177 communities. 176 of those, including Danvers, have had their action plans for compliance already approved by the state. One community intends to go to court, and I hope it won't be us. The minimums in this article were carefully calculated and recalculated to ensure compliance. Efforts to amend or change this article would likely put Danvers into non-compliance with new state law, which is going to cost us money. Failure to approve this article won't change the downtown zoning at all. It won't roll it back to 2017 and 2020. We will simply cut off the vital state funding to the town because we decided not to comply with the final 2% of the MBTA Communities Act. I urge you to join me in supporting this very important article. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Morose.
Hello, Jim Morose, town meeting member, Precinct 3. I've had a lot of feedback on this, and from the residents that I've talked to, and quite frankly, Danvers has done 95% of this work, and now we're going to do the 5%, and we're going to get all this great money from the state. But again, the residents and I are just highly concerned about this trickle-down mandate. When does it stop? We have, like one-size-fits-all traffic patterns. Y'all love your Route 128 and 35 and Route 128, 62. That's one size fits all. The same thing with this zoning, MBTA zoning. They all got to fit this box, okay? Well, we're going to fit in the box and we're going to get money. But at what expense? I mean, because we've already done 95%, I mean, we can see what's at the corner of Hobart and Maple Street. And a lot of people are not really thrilled about that, but that ain't going to change whether we pass this or not, as so noted. But I would just vote against it in principle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morose. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the Finance Committee, oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Joanne Wheelock, Ragucci, Town Meeting Precinct 2. I agree with Mr. Morose's comments, and I think the 2017 and the 2020 passing of the new zoning laws, I was not part of Town Meeting then. One of the reasons why I ran for Town Meeting is, and I think the big test balloon for those zoning changes can be seen on the corner of Maple and Hobart. So I want everyone to picture that and remember your opinion of that building. I believe it's kind of swallowed up a neighborhood. It's right up against someone's home that was supposed to be taken, and now it's not. And they've, I think, come under some hardship because of it. And I think I don't have much confidence in the zoning and the planning boards. After watching their meetings, residents are not heard. Their concerns are not really taken to heart. I believe the developers are being treated with kid gloves. And one comment during, that I really notated down, and what really bothered me was with these new zoning law changes is the developers want to be able to get in as many units as they can to make a profit. In order for them to develop this land, they need to build as many units as possible to make a profit. Not to benefit anyone else in this town. It's to benefit the developer. This is the flip side of what's being presented, because there is a flip side. So by taking away parking downtown, I'm not sure how you're going to incent more business to come when no one can park at their businesses. I had a drive through Beverly. It's a comparable town to us. We have highway access, as does Beverly. They changed their zoning laws, Rantoul Street, Cabot Street, more so Rantoul Street near their MBTA station. They have direct access to MBTA. And a lot of mixed-use apartments up above, retail below. Retail is empty in a lot of those buildings. Beverly's taxes went up over $500 for this fiscal year. We're looking at the same with the new trash fee, which is a different subject. So where is the money? And then the other, I think, caveat that sort of people have been saying, well, this is much needed revenue for the town. But no one can put a number, because until those developments are built, gone through the zoning, gone through the planning boards, probably more easements than should be given are sometimes given. So what you see here on your page can change. If they put retail, they can jam in more units to make more money for them, not for the town. More traffic, more burden on our public safety. Where's that money going to come from? Is it going to come from the new taxes that these buildings are bringing in? Then it's a wash, or we're in a negative. We don't know. So there's a lot of unanswered questions that are sort of being just, oh, we did 95% of the work. This is great, just push it over the line. No, I think the town should be in more control of what is built and what is developed. I'm for development in the town. I'm for improving Danvers. But I'm not for the state to shove it down our throats, to legitimize the MBTA, a very losing prospect right now. So I just hope that everyone kind of looks at those points and maybe reconsider your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? There will be order, please. Mr. George.
Hi, good evening. Louis George, Town Meeting Member Precinct 1. I'm also a member of the Planning Board. And I did want to speak my support for this initiative, for this article. I'd like to associate myself with the comments that David Mills had said, as well as our Planning Board Chair, Jim Sears. The efforts really that took place in 2017, 2020, and now really can help ensure the continued and future vitality of downtown Danvers, and also provides for residential and mixed uses, including affordable housing as well. So the one point I did want to make, just respectfully, in terms of a comment that the concerns, concerns of public were not taken to heart by the planning board, is that we did have multiple hearings, as our chairman just said. We had multiple hearings with respect to this article. We took public comment. We did not shut down public discussion at all. And moreover, as it relates to the downtown rezoning, went through multiple hearings, multiple discussions in 2017, 2020, and again today. So I just urge you to support the article that's before you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the Finance Committee recommendation, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The motion carries. Article 9, housekeeping. To see if the town meeting will vote to amend the zoning bylaw to improve internal consistency in language, provide clarity where vague, conform to state or case law, and move all signage standards to one place or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend the zoning bylaw to improve internal consistency in language, provide clarity where vague, conform to state or case law, and move all signage standards to one place.
Thank you. Mr. Chair of the Planning Board, Mr. Sears.
Thank you. As you know, every few years we have a special town meeting dealing with zoning, and often we have this type of legislation, as we do in front of us tonight, for housekeeping issues. This year we had the benefit of Attorney Mark Bobrowski, who is a noted expert on zoning, to assist us through a grant to kind of go through our zoning article and tweak it and make it more in conformity with state law and state practice and case law, and also to make it easier for the zoning administrator and the building inspector to use the zoning article. So every year, every couple of years or so, you'll remember, those of you who've been town meeting members, that we do this. And this article merely reorganizes stuff. I know it's a lot of pages and appears to be a lot of data, but it's really comes down to a lot of housekeeping issues. So I would seek your support on this article. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? This requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Before moving to the last item in the warrant, I would like to recognize town meeting member Bill Clark for a point of information. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. This evening we have a member of our board, our town meeting body, that's serving his last meeting. He was first elected in 1972 along with Wayne Markey and Teddy Spiliotis as a town meeting member. And he's been a very loyal person in this town for the town meeting process, and I hope we'd recognize Mr. Nelson Moore in Precinct 1.
Nellie, thank you so much for your service, and those who have been with us at the town meeting floor know that he is our standard bearer in Precinct 1 as a teller. So congratulations. Moving to the last warrant article, Article 10, Citizen Petition, to see if the town will vote to adopt the following bylaw. No fee shall be established for curbside rubbish removal or recycling without the establishment of a bylaw establishing such fee and the enforcement of such fee. This provision shall not apply to yard waste, heavy items, white goods, or household hazardous waste, or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend no action.
Thank you. Before moving to a discussion of this article, I'd like to recognize our town council, David DeLuca. Dave?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the meeting. Good to be here again. We have spent some considerable time reviewing the citizen petition, as we do all articles before the meeting. Citizen petitions, though, do take some special care. I have provided some comment to the various town committees reviewing this article, and I believe it was available, that opinion is available for you tonight, but I'll summarize. With the assistance of colleagues in the office, one Jamie Donnelly, who's here with me tonight, we reviewed the citizen petition and determined that no matter how well intended, there appears to be two major flaws with the proposed bylaw. First, the proposed bylaw as presented is a contingent bylaw, meaning that it requests establishment of a second bylaw in order to be effective. In other words, this bylaw, if enacted, is inoperative unless and until a second bylaw is presented and passed, which may or may not occur sometime in the future. And even if it does, it may not be consistent with the law as it's presented, or the bylaw as it's presented tonight. This procedural flaw in and of itself is likely fatal. Second, and equally important, the proposed bylaw is substantially flawed insofar as it delegates to the legislative body, this meeting, a function that by statute is exclusively reserved for the Board of Selectmen. In this case, there is unequivocal statute, Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 28C, Paragraph F, which reserves to the Chief Executive Officer of the town to set trash fees. I could repeat the language of the statute, but it's very clear and it's in the memo. In Danvers, this statutory definition of Chief Executive Officer is in fact the Board of Selectmen. Unlike the common belief that it is in fact our town manager, in this case, Chief Executive Officer is defined in the statute as the Board of Selectmen. The town manager, while he has extensive responsibilities and duties, the setting of fees is not one of them. So it is reserved for the Board of Selectmen. And by decisional law, from the Municipal Law Unit at the AG's office, we found several analogous cases where town meetings sought to step into the shoes of an executive authority, whether in the context of collective bargaining or eminent domain taking. Those bylaws have been rejected by the AG's office. Therefore, in the present case, unfortunately, this bylaw instrument, as it's proposed here, is not suited to accomplish the desired result of the petitioners. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the citizen petitioners, I'd like to recognize Mr. Michael Bean. Mr. Bean.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. My name is Michael Bean, Wenham Street, lifelong resident, and I submit to you the 365 resident signatures to meet the criteria of this special town meeting. The $200 trash fee is of great concern and apprehension for many. The folks that signed the petition either didn't realize the fee was coming to them. Some asked when they'd be voting on it, and others were unhappy how it had happened. The obvious is the residents do not want another cost put on them. The jump in taxes, the cost of electricity going up, and other costs that they have no control over are causing high anxiety. This fee, tax, it's imposed on us without our consent. We have been fighting this exact situation for generations. Our town fathers already thought this through by giving us a representative town government. But instead, the town meeting was skipped over, and yes, a state law says it's okay that this can happen. But are we willing to accept that? We don't have to. When adding over $1 million to the town residents' costs, shouldn't we go the long route? The pushback by town representatives is disturbing. No one is asking for a favor here for something out of the ordinary. We're just asking that the process be respected and followed through so that the residents have a voice. Our town seal says it. If not, more fees will be coming down the road for us. not approved by our town meeting members. We want representation when our money is, as a collective group, is to be spent. The proof is in the hundreds of residents that signed on, and many others have still called to ask where they could sign. Some will tell you that the town employees will be let go and laid off, but this is not true. The costs are the costs are the costs. And after town meeting tells us so, we will agree. We trust you will investigate and advise us. Some will tell you that the wording is illegal. The wording is from another town in the area. The same exact situation as us. It was approved by the Attorney General. It is a bylaw, and the town of Saugus still has no trash fee. If you town meetings are allowed to review the costs and the numbers, then so be it. We trust in you. You have the power. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Is there further discussion? Mr. Morose.
Hello, Jim Morose, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 3. Yeah, I was going to put in a motion to amend, but I'm not going to do that. As long as I can be clear that if the FinCom recommendation is to no vote, if we vote no, that's in support of the petition. If you vote yes, it's against the petition. Is that how that would work?
No.
So the Finance Committee recommendation is no action.
Correct.
If you vote to support the Finance Committee recommendation, then you are voting not in support of the citizen petition. If you vote no on the Finance Committee recommendation, you are in essence voting to support the citizen petition. But, hold on, I believe that that may result in, am I right, Town Council, in a nullity.
In a what?
In what's a legal term, a nullity, meaning it doesn't automatically mean that the citizen petition is allowed. It just means that the finance, can you get up and explain, Dave? In your, I don't practice municipal law.
Yeah, Madam Chair and members of the meeting, it's kind of like a puzzle. So that the main motion that we have before the body right now is to take no action. A positive vote for no action nullifies the request. It does not enact the petition as requested. There would need to be a substitute motion in order to move in that direction.
In order for a positive vote on the citizen petition,
Correct.
the language of the citizen petition, there would need to be an amendment.
That's right. In the absence,
okay.
Then this citizen petition goes no action, and there's no further action to be taken.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing as we're in this dilemma, I'm not going to waste the town's time, but I think that we should, I'm going to recommend that we all vote no on this and not accept the Finance Committee's recommendation as no action in support of the 400-plus people who signed this petition, and I know only 365 were actually certified, but a lot of people didn't even know that this was approved. And it's I understand that everyone thinks that all this information, all 27,000 people in town instantly know all this stuff, but they don't. They don't know that there's a trash fee coming. They don't even know we've changed the zoning and we've done all, they don't know. But when they find out, it's too late. It's too late. So again, I urge you to vote no on this, just to support the people who signed the petition. Thank you.
So, Jim, before you go down that path, I just want to ask, because and again, to me, the citizen petition process is in a form sacred. It's how we as citizens get items before an elected body. So, Dave DeLuca, if I'd ask you to come back, if if there's a vote, and either way, does that prohibit them from coming forward at a future town meeting within?
No.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
It does not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Morose.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Mr. Bates?
Through you, Madam Moderator, I would ask if, I've been a town meeting member for 30 years. I've never voted for a fee before. So the petitioners are right. This is unusual. We talked about it in our neighborhood this weekend, and I couldn't give an answer to why we're going to a fee and it's not included in the tax levy. Could I ask through you, Madam Moderator, for the town manager to answer that question?
Well, I'll first go through the chair of the Board of Selectmen, and do you want to defer to the town manager?
I would like to defer to the town manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Mr. Bartlett?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Through you, the cost of solid waste has always been covered through the tax levy in Danvers. In the current budget, the cost of trash went up by 60% based on the bid process last year after around 20 years with our prior vendor. So it went from about $1.25 million to $2.4 million. Simply put, the tax levy is about $93 million. We operate typically within $100,000 of that levy. We're currently around $5,000 away from our levy limit.
May I also, Madam Moderator, could it be changed back if our tax levy got better next year? Could we get rid of this fee? Could the selectmen vote to put it under the tax levy?
So as the town attorney said, this particular fee, which is covered through Chapter 44, Section 28, CF or FC, I'm not an attorney, is unique in statute. The select board has the authority.
I can't hear them.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, they're talking, I couldn't hear you.
So Chapter 44, Section 28C specifically discusses solid waste fees. As the attorney said, the authority for that fee rests with the select board. So based on a recommendation from staff that they provided advice and consent, and in October voted in favor of the trash fee, a future vote could be taken. That authority resides with the select board in perpetuity.
Thank you. I hope you'll support no action.
Is there further discussion? Mr. Trask?
So I sent an email to you, and I appreciate that you, many of you got it and read it. Those people I had email addresses for. To those I didn't, I apologize. I'll be brief. The discussion that came earlier about people not knowing. This has been prophesized for 18 months. We knew we were losing our contract. We knew that the the people that we had trash contracts with were sold. We knew after 10 years of our last contract of 10 years of favorable trash and changes in the industry, where China no longer accepts our waste, some of our waste, and other issues, we're going to raise the next contract, and it did. It raised it by $1.13 million. So while we had anticipated we were going to have trash fees, and part of it is still in the tax levy and in your taxation, $1.13 million was a brand new bill to us, and we don't have that capacity in the budget. So often, I agree with the town moderator. Citizen petitions are sacrosanct. They should come. They should be allowed. They should become. But we often ask them to check with town council ahead of time to avoid unintended consequences. And in this case, we know the consequences. We know that we've heard about the legality of the language. That's one issue. But we know if we were to try to put $1.13 million in our budget, with our discretionary funds at no more than $2.6 million, it will affect services. And most likely, people. And we don't like the reality of it, but that's the case. You all look at the budget every single year. You can pull out your last budget, you can pull out the next one, and you can see, is there $1.13 million in the budget that we could take from someplace else and not affect services and not affect people. People talk about why you can't run your budget like my home. Your home budget doesn't put 80% of the budget to paying other people. We put 81% of our budget to paying costs for people here, and that's the service we get. So we're also facing another dilemma. We have a Horizon event. We have 7 unions that are in negotiation for employees who deserve to be well compensated for the work they do. We all enjoy the fact that we get the services we get. So everybody who's here, just like you and I, would expect to be compensated and to have raises. We also have the Essex Tech fee, which goes up every year without our control. That's going to put further pressure on the budget. We're not suggesting that the fee could go in the taxation. However, the consequence of that action will reduce services and people in this town, working for this town. I encourage you to support the recommendation of the FinCom. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Maureen?
Hello, everybody. Maureen Bernard, Select Board Member, Precinct 4 also. I just want to say that I do appreciate the time and effort of the citizens petition. Thank you very much. Seeing that they retained over 300 plus signatures, and I believe it was in a short period of time, it makes me wonder if they had a longer period of time, how many more signatures would they have with 27,000 people, 28,000 people in this town? I want to respect the process, but as mentioned previously, it should be up to the residents, not just one person to implement the fee. I can respect our town council, David DeLuca, and his staff. Thank you very much. But David did mention, too, it's only his opinion. So what I'm saying is, let's vote on this. Hopefully it would pass, and then it goes to the Attorney General for their decision. So I urge you to support this article. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Further discussion, sir?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Mark Lentini, Precinct 6. A couple of questions. Gardner, you had mentioned in your email last night that we'd lose between 7 and 12 people due to layoffs with this trash fee or with this increase in trash costs. How many people, can anybody from the town or from the select board answer, how many people have left voluntarily or retired that the positions haven't been filled? It's far greater than 7 to 14 people.
Did you want an answer to that question?
Inconsequential.
Okay.
Just food for thought. And has anybody from the town or the select board considered taking back the transfer station that we, as a town, own and put it for a profit? I think I mentioned that last year. Nothing was done. Covanta's making millions of dollars right now with our transfer station. Take it back, generate income, eliminate the trash fee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, will the meeting be in order? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll now, Mr. Bennett, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, fellow town meeting members. I'll answer Mark's question. The town manager was given a goal to look at taking back the transfer station, and we decided not to do so because of the added expense. The amount of people we would have to hire would not be profitable. Now, can that happen in the future? Anything can happen in the future, but we did look at that. But I do want to point out one small thing. The elected officials in this town, we have a budget goal and objectives that we vote on every year. And our mission statement is rather simple: to provide excellent services at the level desired by citizens, taxpayers, and ratepayers that ensure the health, safety, education, welfare, and quality of life in this community. And we, as the Select Board, take that very seriously whenever we take a vote that impacts the citizens, the taxpayers, the ratepayers. We take it very seriously, and we will review this document tomorrow night after this vote and vote on that again for our next year, fiscal year budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Mr. Mills.
Colleagues, the Select Board sweated for a year with the reality that our trash fee was going to be increased monumentally as it was with the new trash carrier. We held meetings, discussions, workshops. The Finance Committee did the same thing. We do not like spending your money or mine. We should support the recommendation of the Finance Committee. It is sensible. And I listened to our town lawyer. I heard him essentially say that what this petition does violates Massachusetts law. I think laws are very important. I have spent 55 years of my life dedicated to the rule of law. I ask you to not contradict the Finance Committee and vote in favor of the Finance Committee's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Morose.
Can I call for a roll call vote on this?
So you want to, let's make sure no further discussion. And so that I'll consider that a motion for a roll call vote. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of taking a roll call vote, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The noes have it. No roll call vote. We now turn to voting on the recommendation of the Finance Committee of no action. Does everybody understand? We're voting on the recommendation of the Finance Committee. All those in favor of the recommendation of the Finance Committee, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The ayes have it. That concludes our town meeting. Thank you very much. Have safe travels home. Thank you.